of the Bible is Rahab. I really want to speak about her because she is one of the women that was sitting in the promised land waiting on a promise. And one of the most important incorporated roles in a biblical woman, or just being a woman in general, is taking care of your family, securing your family. Protecting your family is for the man, but actually making sure your family is okay. And that is one of her roles. It isn't quite sure as to what she did in regards to like whether prostitution or renting out rooms or other things of that nature, but she did what she had to do to take care of her family in a time of need, in a time of attack. And she was waiting on this promise. And I want to let you know, when she hit these two spies in the Bible, it was like there was an attack coming, and she's waiting on the Jericho walls to fall for her promise to come with forth. They said, we're going to spare your family after this attack. So when she hit these two men who were scouting the city prior to this attack, she's putting her and her family's life in jeopardy. So she had to activate faith, righteousness, and following God, but also standing on a promise. And I want to talk about that because some women are standing on a promise, whether from the Lord or whether it's for income or whether it's for your future or to secure your family. She lived in Jericho in the promised land, waiting on a promise. And in the end, she saved her family. But I want to talk about, what if it doesn't fall through? What if the Jericho walls don't fall? What if they find the spies in her home? I want to talk about that because sometimes the plot turns, sometimes the plot thickens. And what do we do in those instances where it turns, where it changes, and the walls don't fall and they find the spies in your home and that you're renting out rooms and what you're doing and what's going on? But you're still a saint who's living by faith. You're still a saint that's righteous and want to save your family. And you're still hospitable. You're saying, hey, I was being nice to these gentlemen. However, there's a side to every story. So I want to talk about that because some women are trying to escape things in their life, and you're utilizing other opportunities or means to do so. And you're like, what if it changes? And this is where I want to talk about standing on God, standing on faith, like Rahab. Because Rahab is a woman that is strong enough to know in her faith in God that it will work out in the end. And I oftentimes think of the what ifs as a Christian, like, what if he wants me to go this way or the other way? And it's not a sign of worry, because in the beginning, God worked on worry with me so that you don't worry your mind, because you should be anxious for nothing. However, there are things that happen, and they're not happening because of the bad thing. They were a part of the plan all along. Sometimes we're waiting on something to fall in order for our families to be saved. We're waiting on something to happen in order for this to happen. But if it doesn't fall, can you still make it happen, is what I'm saying. And it's like, no, we wait on God. We stay in prayer. We stay in faith. If you look at most of the Bible, biblical women, they are standing on faith. They are activating what they are used to. And that is what high heels to a perfect woman is all about. When I tell people and they're not actually reading High Heels to a Perfect Woman, they're thinking high heels like shoes. No, there are high heels. Like, take your high heels off and let's go up these hills and go with the process of becoming the person that you need to be, that God sees you and predestined all alone on the other side of the hills. Because sometimes we try to take a shortcut. It's easy to go in the store and purchase the high heels and, manifest a perfect woman. I can do that all day in any store, wherever. I'm saying, how do we go through the hard work of becoming that person that when the storm comes and beats up against it, it doesn't change? When the storm comes and, you have a pandemic, when the storm comes and things happen, you still come out that perfect woman that God saw on the other side of the hills. And you have to go up those hills. Mind you, I can run up the hills in the high heels. Why would I do that? On the other side of the hills, the woman could be in tennis shoes. On the other side of the hills, that woman could be barefoot, bare naked like Eve. It's just being willing to manifest that woman that God saw and predestined you from the beginning, from the foundations of the world, so that you can walk forth in your provision, your future, your dominion, your purpose, and your destiny, and withhold the woman that you are truly today. Just like Rahab, you may say that's a small, short part of the Bible, but it's very significant. She's saving her family. She's actually manifesting speaking into like the Israelites. She's helping them. It says here, Rahab and her whole family were preserved according to the promise of the spies and were incorporated among the Jewish people. She played a very important role. It's a very small part, but a very important role. You know, it requires you to be, they had to trust her, these two guys. She had to trust them that they will follow back on their promise when they're done attacking. She had to trust the fact that the walls would fall. She had to trust God in this instance. And that's what we have to do in life, as being a perfect woman. Now, are we going into perfection and unto completion? Because a lot of women may say, hey, I'm perfect right now. And you may see many different varieties of this, and that may be very well true. However, God has a very, very perfect woman for you, and that is who you are on the other side of that mountain. That is who God sees you as. You see what the world has put on you is a perfect woman, and that could be many different things. Because the other day I was watching Baywatch. I was like, back then, that is a perfect woman, and that honestly is my goal when I'm going to the gym. However, other people may see a different type of perfect woman as a perfect woman. What I'm saying in this instance is not looks, it's not clothes, it's not high heels. It's a train of thought. It's a person. It's a being. It's like Eve. It's like he just pulled her out. He didn't say, oh, she has this on, she's this and that. It says she is a part of his flesh. She is his bone. She is his blood. She is like I, the Lord. So I'm just saying, like, it's just a manifestation. You just have to manifest what he saw in you to be that. And sometimes we are not that day, because you always have years that go down the road and you're like, wow, I'm a perfect woman today. I thought I was back then. But God has made a change in your life and manifested in you to make something totally different than what you thought it would be. And that's what we're doing on this journey to high heels to a perfect woman. I'm super happy to do it. It seems like I had to go up literally high heels to get to it, but I'm super happy to get to it. We're going to turn it to a Bible study, and let's